as you lay back, give yourself a few moments to allow any tension of the day to simply release into the floor beneath you. Bring your awareness to the breath and slowly work your way through the body from head to toe, unclenching the jaw, resting the tongue in the well of the mouth, softening the cheeks, the chin, the lips, relaxing that space between the eyebrows. If you're frowning, let it go. Notice the natural pace of your breath. No need to change anything or force the breath. Slow. The breath becomes stuck anywhere, remove any tension. Sending each inhalation to the parts of the body that need it most. Each exhalation, a chance to release and relax. Notice the cool air at the tip of the nose, the warm air at the back of the throat. And through this lengthened, deepened breath, feel the lungs fill on the inhale, then soften and release on the exhale. Widening and expanding into the space that surrounds you. Softening and releasing, allowing the weight of your body to sink a little more deeply into the earth. Notice how you've chosen to hold your body. Remind yourself to soften the shoulders, to relax the fingers, to feel equal weight through the back of the hips and through either the soles of the feet or the heels. Start to make your breath a little noisier, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Releasing this next exhalation with an audible sigh. Now nudge your breath back to a natural, easy rhythm. If the knees are bent, taking a moment to extend the legs along the mat, to draw the feet a little closer together, to feel the hands either side of the hips, palms turned up towards the ceiling. Then on an inhalation, lift both arms overhead, point through fingers and toes, and take a long stretch through the front of your body. On an exhalation, take all the time you need to hug the knees towards the chest, placing the hands to the shins. Gently rocking from one side to the other, finding space through the back of the hips. Then return again to center. Replace both feet on the mat. Let's position the feet hip width apart. Widen the arms at chest level, so palms again turned up towards the ceiling, making a T shape. Let the back of the head relax to the floor. Then slowly turn the head to bring the right ear parallel to the mat. Engage the core, lift the weight of the head through center, bringing the left ear parallel to the mat. Engage the core, lift the head again through center. Then slide the hands back down either side of the hips. Inhaling now to squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhaling to gently squeeze the fingertips down towards the heels. So the inhale to lift the shoulders up. The exhale to push the shoulders down and away. Now draw the shoulder blades together, widening the space across the chest through the collarbones, and allow those upper arms, the space at the back of the shoulders, to become heavy again. On the next out breath, mindfully draw the tummy button towards the spine. On the in breath, feel that space expand through the lungs and the ribcage. On the out breath, that gentle core engagement as you roll that space in the lower back towards the floor. On the next inhalation, lift and lengthen the right leg, bringing that heel to flexion on the out breath, pushing the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Inhaling to point the toe, exhaling to flex. Inhaling to point, coming again to a nice deep flexion, pressing through the heel. Then on the out breath, bending that right knee in towards the chest, placing the hands to the shin, applying a little pressure here. Now guiding that knee out towards the right shoulder, so we're opening the space in the inner thigh to the side of the hip. Keeping the hands on either the knee or the shin to draw a little circle here. Let's take that circle both directions. Try to make the circle into the hip joint itself rather than the ankle. Then roll the knee back to center. Bring that right hand to the inside of that bent right knee. Take hold of either the big toe or the ankle or the hem of your leggings. Try to use right hand to right foot rather than opposite hand. Make it to the inside so that you've got space. Then on the next exhale, push that heel straight up towards the ceiling. Avoid lifting the bottom from the floor. Press through the heel. Then on the exhale, slide that foot out to the right side and extend your left arm out. Turn your gaze along the length of the left arm, wide through the chest, pushing through that heel. On the next out breath, draw the tummy button in. Press the heel again towards the ceiling. Then on the out breath, draw the knee towards the chest. Now replace that right foot to the floor. Engage the core and lift and lengthen through the left leg. So again, we're going to bring the foot to flexion to begin with, pressing through the heel, feeling the back of the hip really rest to the floor. Then inhale to point the toe, exhale to flex. So we're activating that space at the back of the hamstring into the calf. You'll notice when you come to flexion, it's more tension. So we use that inhale just to relax the leg for a moment. Then press a little more keenly through the heel. On the out breath, bend that left knee. Hug the knee in towards the chest. We'll direct that knee out towards the left shoulder. Then we'll draw little circles again with the knee, so we're mobilizing the space in at the hip. Change direction. Then as you bring that knee back to center, let's bring the left arm to the inside of the bent knee. Take hold of the big toe, press through the heel. And we'll start by pressing the heel straight up to get the stretch. Then on the out breath, let that heel release out to the left side, widening the right arm, turning your gaze along the length of that arm, keeping that shoulder stuck to the floor. So there's quite a bit of space happening around the side of the rib cage. Just notice how much you've lifted the right buttock off the floor. Try to keep the back of the hips square. Let that stretch be in the inner thigh. Oh, it's good sitting up against his heels. Then on the out breath, draw the tummy button in and bring that foot back to center, hugging that knee to the chest. Beautiful. Then replace both feet to the floor. Now, unbelievably, Lucy has turned up at the door and it's locked. Would you mind? Would you mind? I feel as if I run away, I can't really. It's this lock here. I'm so sorry. Thank you, darling. So let's keep the feet hip width apart, hands either side of the hips. On the next inhalation, push down into the soles of the feet, lift the bottom from the floor, press the shins forward, lift the thighs, lift the belly, lift the chest. Let's remain wide through the collarbones, engaged in the core. I'll remind you about that action of keeping the knees tracking in line with the hips. So if your knees are too wide, we're overactivating the hip sockets. We want them to be nice and tight. Pressing the shins forward, lifting the thighs a little higher. So if you're tight in the fronts of the thighs or the hip flexors, this is quite a challenging posture, but it's very releasing. On the next exhalation, find that space between the shoulder blades and take your time. So the key here is to come down vertebra by vertebra. If you come down very quickly, you kind of don't feel the benefit of that massaging action either side of the spine. Bringing the lower back to the floor, back of the hips to the floor. Lovely. Then let the buttocks fully soften and release. Now draw the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to open, widening into that space in the inner thigh. Inhaling again to lift the arms overhead. So this isn't accessible for everyone. Some of you will be able to get the backs of the hands on the floor. For some of you, that's very tight through the chest or the shoulders. So we all modify to find the position that suits us best. She's maybe gone. I didn't see her message until a minute in. Yes, thank you, man. Thanks, Sally. Now on the next out breath, bring the hands into an interlock to the back of the head. So you're cradling the weight of the head into the hands, drawing the shoulder blades together, engaging the core. Then on the out breath, lead with the right elbow to gently draw that elbow down towards your right knee. If you can, we're opening into the left side of the rib cage, so turn your gaze over that left elbow. So it really encourages the elbows to widen and open. Then on the next exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll back to center, and we'll take that extension to the opposite side. And remember, we sometimes find one side is easier than the other. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in and roll back towards center. Release the weight of your head from the hands. Bring the hands again either side of the hips. On an out breath, engage the core and slide the thighs towards one another. On the next exhalation, hug both knees again in towards the chest. Positioning the hands underneath that space in the lower back. So kind of like the flat bone above the bottom. Then lift both heels straight up, pressing the heels up towards the ceiling, keeping a little gap between the feet. Hip width distance is good. Twitching the toes in towards the shins, so we're in full flexion. And some of you will be fortunate enough to be very flexible in the hamstrings, so we don't feel this as much on the tummy. So to make this a level playing field, engage the core and lower the heels down about a third of the way. We don't need to go all the way, just a third will be enough. Pressing the heels forward, lengthening through the back of the legs. Inhaling to point the right toe, then coming to flexion. Do the left toe, come to flexion. Point both toes away, engage the core, bring them back. Then on the out breath, hug the knees again towards the chest. Good, because that's hardcore. Now widen the arms, we're back to that T shape. Rolling the knees to one side, turning the gaze over the left arm. Feeling where the tension is, where the resistance is. Do you feel tight at the side of the hip? Do you feel tight through that space at the side of the rib cage and the shoulder? Send the breath to the part of the body that needs it most. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll back through center, and take the knees to the opposite side. Turning your gaze over the opposite arm. Try to keep the arms in a T-shaped position. So if they're too much overhead, you'll kind of not be able to turn your head. So if they're in your shoulder line, it gives you that little bit more space through the chest. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll both knees back again towards center. Lift the hands straight up above the shoulders, thumbs pointing towards the back of the room. Separate the hands shoulder width distance apart, so hands are in the air rather than overhead. That's it. Took a minute for that instruction to click in there. Make sure the knees are at a 90-degree angle, toes pointing up towards the ceiling, and try to lift the heels so that they're as high as the knees. If the heels are lowered down, you're kind of cheating yourself of the benefits of this great posture. Again, I'll remind you, knees hip width apart, little bit of gap between the feet. Then we'll work with the upper abdominals. On the out breath, extend the arms back, rest the thumbs an inch from the floor. Wide through the chest. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, bring the hands back to center. Lovely. Then extend the right leg forward, dropping that heel down to an inch off the floor. And I will get my ruler out. Excellent. Slide that left arm back just to add insult to injury. Then on the next out breath, engage the core, bring that knee up, bring that arm up. Take the opposite leg forward, we're in the zone. That heel an inch from the floor. Good, right arm back. Julie's like, what arm? Left arm, right arm? Can't work it out. Opposite arm goes back to the bent knee. Then on your exhale, draw the tummy button in and bring both shins, the thighs in towards the chest. Sorry, I'm busy looking and trying to think, how do I fix that? Have a little hug here. Replace the feet to the floor. Oh, was that nice? Then when you're ready, roll to your side. We'll come to seated position. Thank you ever so much, Sally, for going down and checking the door. She must have not got my message back to say we're on our way. She must have left.
I just shouted hello to all the youths out there.
Oh, did you? They're all like going, oh gosh. Yeah. Can we come to a cross leg position, please? Ideally right foot in front of left so that we don't lose our place. Then lift up and lengthen out of the sit bones. Line up the back of the head with the tailbone, shoulders again released away from the ears. So as we keep those shoulders back and down, think about drawing the shoulder blades together. I was once told to imagine that you were tucking the shoulder blades into an imaginary pocket at the center of your spine. Then extend both arms forward. So we're quite active here through those muscles at the upper back, very engaged in the core. Then inhale to lift both arms overhead. Press through the fingertips. While we keep the sit bones equally weighted, we're just going to take a little more length to the right arm, then a little more length to the left arm. Then press through both fingertips, keeping the shoulders back and down. Engaging the core, then sliding the hands back to that shoulder height level. Bring the palms together, right forefinger over left, turning the hands inside out. Inhaling to lift the arms overhead. Shoulders again released away from the ears, pressing through the palms of the hands, widening through the chest, keeping that tailbone tucked under as you lift the weight of the rib cage off the belly. Then on an out breath, take your body weight over to the right side as you turn your gaze under that left elbow. Engage the core, inhale back to center. Take it to the opposite side. Then inhale again, come back to center. On the out breath, float the hands back to chest level. Turn the palms towards you once more. Core engagement as we curve through the spine, nodding the chin to the chest, a seated cat stretch. Then as you inhale, let's lift and lengthen back to that centered position, shoulders released. Separate the hands, bring them behind. Left forefinger stacked over right, shoulder blades drawn together. On the out breath, slide the hands away from the lower back. Just watch that you're not using your chin as a secret tiller. Then bring the hands back again to the lower back and separate. Let's switch that leg crossover. So opposite foot in front, behind. And I'm sticking with this theme of getting into the side of the rib cage. Extend the right arm away. Nice easy one, bringing the gaze up to the middle finger of the left hand. Right elbow in towards. Pardon?
You said right, but you're doing left.
I said right, but I'm doing left.
You're right, Paula. Is that okay? I'm sure.
That's my right in the yoga world.
Yeah.
Turn your gaze up to the middle finger of the opposite hand, twisting the rib cage open. Yeah, if you're flipping me in your head, we're never going to get this to work. Then inhale, lift, come back to center. And you know, it's one of the things you get marked down on in your yoga exam if you don't mirror. And in the real world, people question it all the time. I'm like, bloody hell, I'll be stressed out about mirroring.
I need it.
Yeah, some people are
need
visual,
mirroring.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
really need it. Then lift and lengthen, come back to center. Really easy again, right hand behind the hip, left hand on right knee, just take my word for it. Lift up and lengthen, follow the side of the rib cage, then open the rib cage towards the back of the room. So rather than rushing to get out of this position, let's consider taking another breath here, lifting and lengthening more out the sit bones. Then as you exhale, twisting a little more into this shape. So we're really opening into the side of the rib cage. Good. Then on the out breath, we let that tension go. We come back through center, opposite hand to opposite knee, lift up and lengthen, follow the side of the rib cage and turn your gaze over that shoulder. Might want to check in here that the knees are relaxed, that we're still equally weighted on the sit bones. Inhaling again to lift up out of the sit bones, then exhaling to come a little deeper into the twist. Then as you exhale, release and come back to center. Good. I know some of you love this one, some of you don't. So we'll divide the room by bringing both hands in front of the ankles, inhaling to lift and lengthen. Then as you exhale, you start that little walk forward. So this isn't nice if you have any acid reflux, so I won't be doing it. On the out breath, let's bring the palms to the floor. So fully sink the palms to the mat, shoulders away from the ears. So we're relaxed and open through the chest. Then on the out breath, draw the elbows a little closer towards the floor. Wide through the chest. Nice. Then on the next exhale, draw the tummy button in and walk the hands back to center. Good. Reposition the hands either side of the hips, shoulder blades drawn together, pressing the shins forward. If you can, lifting the bottom from the floor, but don't put pressure on the wrists or the ankles. It's not worth it. You can still get a stretch by lifting the sternum up and opening your gaze towards the ceiling. Then on an out breath, release, bring the sit bones to the floor. Let's ease the ankles off by bringing the feet to a wide leg position. Toes pointing up, lifting and lengthening. Bringing the left hand to the inside of the right thigh, the right hand to that side of the right thigh. And then we want to almost like mobilize the rib cage. So we lift and twist the rib cage so that the sternum is facing the big toe. Then on an out breath, start a little walk forward. So it kind of isolates the lengthening into the back of the leg rather than that inner thigh, which is where we were before. The golden rule here is that we keep the left buttock on the floor. Damn it, they say. It's just getting my chest onto my thigh there. Then as you exhale, engage the core, walk back to center. And then we'll bring the shoulders to face forward again. That lift up, again, we're mobilizing the rib cage. Then we're exhaling to walk forward to the other side. So in this posture, it sounds strange because you feel as though you want to kind of bring your head down, but in an ideal world, we'll simply be hinging at the hip. So that means that the shoulder blades stay together and we create a diagonal line from the back of the head. So it might be the head doesn't go as far down, but you will feel more of a stretch. Shoulder blades drawn together. Then exhale, draw the tummy button in, walking back towards center. Perfect. So we'll take a little walk forward now. We'll pause about halfway. When we get to that halfway mark, slide your hands out to sit wherever is comfortable on your legs. So whether that's the knees, the shins, the ankles, we're just going to sit in a position where we're lifted and lengthened, shoulder blades drawn together. Then as you exhale, slide the hands and stop when you've had enough. I'm stopping here, I've had enough. And it might be that you kind of feel as if, actually, if I just got my hands a little further, I would be able to extend a little more. So you might want to just tuck the hands around the soles of the feet or the big toes. And it's okay to keep that little slack in the knees, shoulder blades drawn together, hinging forward, easing into the space in the inner thighs. Lovely, there's some great shapes here. Then as you exhale, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, draw the tummy button in, and walk the hands back towards center. Lovely. Now bring the feet together, Dandasana posture. Draw that right knee up. Place the hands on the shin. I always use an interlock because I think it gives a good grip to lift up and lengthen. So there's two versions of this posture. We're going to start with the easy version, which is where we leave the left hand just around that right calf. Right hand comes behind the hip. Lift up and lengthen, then follow the side of the rib cage to come into a twist. So let's just have a look at the position of the knee. Ideally, the knee will be tracking in line with your sternum. So your shoulder's turned away now. So we don't really want the knee to follow that. The knee shouldn't really be drifting out. It should be quite tightly drawn in towards the chest. To tighten that a little further, if you have space to do so, you might want to bring the left elbow over the front of the body to the outside of the right knee, pressing the fingers up towards the ceiling, and that gives you a little more space to come slightly deeper into this twist. Lovely. Let's just switch that left toe on. It should be pointing up towards the ceiling. We tend to let it drift out to the side. Good. Then as you exhale, release, bring your gaze forward. Extend the opposite leg. Bring the left foot in. So again, it's that lift up and lengthen. We start with the hand around the shin, lifting up, coming into the first part of the twist, checking in with the knee discipline, making sure that right toe is pointing up to the ceiling. So we've got a little bit of extra juice going on. Then bring the elbow over to the opposite knee. Let's see how we feel to come a little deeper into this twist. Lovely. Perfect. Really nice through the side of the body. Then as you exhale, release and face forward again. Nice work. Extend both legs forward. So we're going to do an upside down or a reverse plank position now. For those of you who don't feel as strong in the wrists or have any issues with wrists and mobility, you might prefer to do the bent knee version of this. So the bent knee version is where we position the hands just behind the hips and push up. If wrists is not an issue for you, we're going to keep the fingers facing forward if you can, pressing the soles of the feet to the floor, lifting the chest and coming into a nice long diagonal.
Can I do that onto elbow?
Yeah, try it. Try it.
Can I do that down onto my elbow?
Yeah. Let me know how you get on.
Yeah, you're going to hear it go boom.
Yeah, because I don't think I could do that. Cramp. Then when you're ready, release the sit bones to the floor. Did that work, Abby? Yeah, kind of. In fact, let's all, just out of curiosity, let's just try that. Bring the elbows down. Thanks, Abs.
It's got, I think that's harder.
Oh, that's rock hard, mate. That is rock hard.
Yeah, that's definitely harder.
Get her in the bin.
You're just asking for me, not you.
I was curious. Okay, I'm going to get you to come onto all fours now. Now that you're like here, kind of going, what?
I can't do that.
So, Abby, you'll need to keep your head looking forward. Do not look down, because that will irritate your eye, won't it? Just to remind you. So, into an all fours position. Knees hip width apart, wrists shoulder width apart. Nice and slack on the elbows. Don't lock them out. Good, good, good. Turn both toes under. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll up. Then rest on the tops of the feet. Inhale to lift the chest forward. Exhale, roll up. Then inhale to lift the chest forward, widening through the collarbones. Then come back again to that neutral spine position. Taking the right foot back, turning the toe under, pressing through the heel. Bringing that knee back in, taking the left foot back, same action. Just enjoy that stretch, it's just a nice stretch to do. We'll keep that left foot back as we let the right foot join the left, coming into plank. And we stay wide through the collarbones here. When you start to lift the bottom, that's what puts pressure on the wrists. So try to stay in that diagonal shape. Leading with the right elbow, we come down onto forearms. Then leading with the right hand, we walk back up to full plank. Ooh. Then lead with the left elbow, come down onto the forearm plank. Then lead with the left hand, walk back up. Beautiful. Step the right foot out, bring it in. Step the left foot out, bring it in. Jump both feet out. Jump them in. Then lower down, knees, chest, chin. Bottom is up. Inhale to lift the chest. Then relax back. Come into child's pose. Which I won't do because it'll squash my tummy. Did you like that? I keep seeing, because I've been like feeling sorry for myself lying in my bed, I've been scrolling through videos. I keep seeing like a TikTok video of this plank thing where they go down, up, in, out. Yeah, so I'll learn that and I'll teach you that.
People doing that like PT instructors.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh, okay, is it?
Yeah.
I hadn't really noticed that. I just thought they were normal people. Beautiful. So you're in your child's pose. We're going to come out of your child's pose, come into all four again. Just to make sure that the knees are hip width apart, not together. Then we're going to take that right foot forward. Shoulder blades drawn back and down. Try to bring the knee just over the heel, no further, so 90-degree angle. Bring the hands to an Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. Ideally, we'll have quite an obtuse angle going on in that back thigh. So have a glance down. If your knee's directly underneath your hip, you need to take it a tiny bit further back. Particularly on this floor, you'll just feel it on your knee joint. Perfect. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. We can afford to sink the body weight a little further forward. Just watch that knee angle. Beautiful. Lift the sternum. If this doesn't make you dizzy, bring your gaze to the space at the base of the thumbs. Then inhale, lift the sternum and ease a little more deeply back. And don't fall over. Engage the core, bring the hands back to heart. Then simply hinge forward, come back to your all fours position. Turn both toes under, roll up through the spine. Just on a back bend, so we're going to iron that out. Come back into all fours position. Bring the opposite foot forward. Sorry. Come back into that lovely lunge posture. So ideally the back foot is on the floor rather than the toe turned under. And we're really sinking into this thigh to get into that hip flexor good. Make sure that front knee is over the second toe, not rolling in. If it collapses in, it changes the shape of your hips. Keep the core engaged as you lift the arms up. Shoulders away from the ears as you firstly lift the sternum, then turn your gaze up to the thumbs. Then we'll draw the shoulders back, open the sternum a little more, become a little more deeply into this space. Then engage the core, bring the hands back to heart. Hinge forward, turn that right toe under, step the feet together. Sorry, I need to stand up, you can stay down. So you're staying in a forward fold. You're all like going, do we really need to? Yeah, you actually really do. Like, I'm not messing with you. So come into a forward fold. Let's try, that's a good common denominator. Yeah, just angle. No, let's wrap the hands around the elbows. That will help. Yes. Put a bigger bend in your knees. Everyone put a bigger bend in your knees. Some of you are quite flexible in the hamstrings, so I have to be careful. So in this position, because your knees are really bent, can you really focus on bringing your belly onto the thighs? That's it. That's it. Now we've got nice long spines. We're relaxed. Let your head release, apart from you, Abby. Keep your head up. Ears between the upper arms. Excellent. That's it. You're looking at me going, really? That can't be it? Then bring your hands onto the thighs. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. Slowly coming up by rolling through the spine. Then rolling the shoulders back and down. Beautiful. Whenever we do a forward fold, never think that you have to straighten your legs out. You get just as nice a stretch if you have a big old bend in your knees. We always think, oh, I have to get my hamstrings going. Bottom line on it is, if your hamstrings are tight, that's not the position you want to be doing it in. So you might as well go for the space in the spine because it's much more pleasant. Come towards the front of your mat. Place the hands on the hips. Take the right foot back. Come into that tram line position. So make sure that the toes are both pointing forward. The insides of the feet are parallel to the edge of the mat. Keep that front knee nice and long. I don't know what that was. Then as you exhale, hinge forward so that we've got the shoulders parallel to the floor. Now, ideally, the shoulders will come down at the same rate. So if you lead with one shoulder, then the other, you're always going to be a little bit off center. Widen the arms. I was going to keep them on the hips, but I think it'd be better widen. So I'm going to say to everyone, pull your left hip back. That doesn't mean your left foot. That's it. Yeah, you can. Then as you exhale, you're drawing the tummy button in. You're coming into a bend in that front knee. You're bringing the hands to the heart. You're coming into a slight bend on the back knee. Then again, you're inhaling to lift up. Then as you exhale, widen the arms. Bring that heel of the back foot off the floor. Then ease down. Inhale to lift up, straightening the front leg. Exhale to widen the arms, bring the back knee down. Inhale to lift up. Widen, down. Inhale to lift up. Then replace that heel to the floor. Bring the hands back again to the hips. Then push into that front foot, turn to face forward, so you're all facing away from me, as it were. So insides of the feet again, parallel, toes pointing forward, hands on the hips for a little bit of good measure. Then on and out breath, hinge forward. Same idea as we did when we did that forward fold. Slacken off your knees and take as much bend as you like. If your head goes down too quick, it curves your spine. So think more about keeping the back of the head in line with the back of the tailbone. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, lift back to center. Beautiful. And then we'll turn through the feet again, so the opposite foot is pointing forward, back to that tram line position. So I think it's your right foot forward. That's it. Don't worry about not seeing me. I am omnipresent. So hands on the hips, tiny bit of slack on the knees. Beverly, you have to take your left foot wider. That's it. That's it. It won't twang your heel now. Then on the out breath, start that little hinge forward. So the hinge forward with straight legs, if you remember. Oh, Nikki, you need to sort out that back foot. Yeah, try and have the feet parallel. So if one toe's turned out, it will make it feel really weird. That's probably made it weirder for you.
Yeah.
Make sure the hips are square. So you might want to just pull that right hip back, then widen your arms, unless you think you're going to lose your balance, because some of you are really going for it on this. Lovely, what great shapes. Think about the back of the head again. If you nod the head down, you roll through the spine. Good, good, good. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, bring the hands back towards the heart. As you stand up, you're coming into the 90-degree angle on the front knee. Beautiful. If you feel unsettled, you can take that back foot a little bit closer if you just feel a little bit too spread out. Then again, we're going to come up onto the ball of the back foot. So we're lifting that back heel, exhaling, widening the arms, bending the back knee, lowering into a 90-degree angle on the front knee. Then inhaling, lifting up. Then exhaling, coming into that 90-degree angle again. Then inhaling to lift up. Exhaling, releasing down. Excellent, good work. Lift up. Let's leave you down there for a moment. So come back down into that bent knee position. Good. Now equalize the weight. If it's all on the front thigh, the knee's going to be feeling it. So feel that you're centered in the hips and the pelvis. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, lift up, come back to center. Step the feet together. There was some very good balance work going on there. It's good, I like it when you can't see me. So keep those arms up, widen them to a Y shape formation, shoulders back and down. Check in with the feet. The feet should be hip width apart, insides of the feet parallel. Some of you think that your hips are wider than they are, so I'm going to say it again. Okay, different direction, bring the feet together. Knobbly bits touching. Tiny push out with the back of the heels. Insides of the feet parallel. That's hip width distance. That surprised you, didn't it? Now bring the palms together. Come up onto the balls of the feet, for those of you who haven't. Good, good, good. Breathing is good. Then as you exhale, draw those heels to the floor. Bring the hands back towards the heart. Inhale to widen through the chest. As you exhale, push the sit bones back. Make sure there's a little gap between the knees. You're coming into an awkward chair pose. I'll come over there, shall I? Okay, because the screen's on. Beautiful. Shoulder blades drawn together. Pushing the sit bones towards the back of the room. Knees are bent. 90 degrees would be good. Beautiful. Then lower the hands down, so we just have a little bit of space through the shoulders, engage the core, inhale, lift up, then roll the shoulders back and down. Because you've all got your back to me and it's freaking you out, can you turn and face me, please? You're all a bit like, I don't like it, I can't see her. It's quite good. It's a bit more normal though, because it's the way you would normally be when you come into class, because we're back to front today. So tiny bit of balance now, take hold of the right ankle. Just threw that one in there. Yeah. Tiny bit of balance here. So remember, the golden rule with balance is if we have the legs apart, we're kind of putting a lot of strain on the joints. So ideally, we want the knees together, the thighs together, so not even having the knee forward. Everything ever so slightly touching, lifting and lengthening. You might want to use the opposite hand to hold the ear for balance. Might work for you, might not. Yeah, you see? There's a few, that works. Beautiful. While I've got you there, because you're looking really strong, stay on that supporting leg, hinge at the hips, and bring that right thigh backwards. So the thigh becomes parallel to the floor, so watch that we don't pull the knee out. Keep the hips square, the shoulders square. Strengthen the supporting leg. Good, good, good. So it's this shape. Parallel. You can use a wall if you need to. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, come back to standing. Like, oh yeah, did that.
You can do it if you let me stick it out.
No, I won't let you stick it out. So do the balance in the opposite leg. So when you bring the left heel up, most of you are stronger on your right leg, because if you're right-handed, you tend to be right-footed. So you might actually find the second side is just marginally easier, marginally more forgiving. But I'm still strict. I still want knees together, thighs together. Almost like a tiny tilt in the hips, because it opens into the hip flexors more beautifully. Good. And then if you keep your gaze on the horizon point, when you do that little hinge forward, so it's kind of like the shoulders are coming down, but you keep looking forward, because if you look down, you're likely to feel a little wobblier. Lots of concentration. What's that? Then, of course, for those of you who are still beautifully in the position, I'm going to gently and gracefully lift back up and come back to standing. So bring the feet back to that hip width position. So when you had your back to me before, I corrected you, because actually a lot of you were coming here thinking that that was your hips. It's absolutely not your hips. So the direction that I gave you then was the soles of the feet together, and then almost like you're pulling the heels apart, like making a little smile at the back of your heels. That's massive. It's you I'm looking at, and particularly you're like, yeah, I'm going to go here. Tiny little squidgy open. That's it. That's where your hips are. Then insides of the feet parallel. Yay! Rebecca thinks her hips are here. But absolutely not. Brilliant. Come up again onto the balls of the feet. Lift the arms up overhead. Press through the fingertips. Keep the heels up this time as we come back into that awkward chair pose. Shoulders back and down, chest open. Engaging the core. Then press the right heel to the floor. Keep the left heel up. Then bring both heels up. Then the left heel to the floor. Then come up. Then both heels down. Then hands either side of the hips. Push down and lift up. Lovely. Perfect. Now take the feet again, hip width apart. So as much if you might want to turn side on again if you need your mat. A little bit of slack in the knees. Oh my God, that just made me think it made me think of Squid Game there when you all started like moving. Do they not do that game at the beginning where it's like red light? Right? Oh, it just freaked me out there for a moment. Ugh. Okay, so we're standing with the toes facing forward. Let's just take the toes out. So the toes are kind of pointing out towards the edge of your mat. It changes the action of the knees and of the hips. We're taking a tiny bit of slack on the knees, so not quite a knee bend, but we're getting a bit slack. Then roll the knees over the second toe, so really get into a wider position. Good, good, good. Keep those feet where they are. We don't need to go any wider with the feet. Then bring the hands to an Anjali Mudra, and then just sit down. I'm going to say just sit down. I want you to bring the underside of the thighs parallel to the floor. How low can you go? How low can you
I
go?
might not get back up.
Can we please lift the right heel?
Ooh.
Replace that foot to the floor. Lift the left heel. Replace that foot. Both heels. Ta-da! Replace the feet to the floor. Good. Push down into the soles of the feet. Inhale. Lift up. Widen the arms. Elbows at shoulder height. Palms facing forward. Same action with the legs. So we're going to come into as deep as a parallel to the floor squat. But what you'll remember is the toes are rolled out, so the knees have to roll out to achieve. Then inhale, we'll lift up, bringing the arms overhead. Try not to lock the knees out on the way up. The action on the exhale is to stick your tongue out in goddess pose. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, lift up. Breathe out like you mean it. All your tension, all your anger, all your frustration, let it out. It's a full moon. Oh! One more time. Really come into that goddess and hold, hold. You may put your tongue back in while you're held. Beautiful. Breathing is good. That definitely looks like Squid Game. You're all like, what? Then bring the hands together, push into the soles of the feet, step the feet together, and tell me that you love me, because I've got you out of that really hard position. Now lift both arms up overhead. Another moon, one half moon position. So thumbs interlocked overhead. Hips don't move, shoulders don't move. We isolate. So we lift the rib cage, hinge, good. Turn the gaze under the left elbow or underarm. Then inhale back to center. Exhale to the opposite side. Come back to center. Then bring the hands back onto the hips. Just going to loosen off the hamstrings before we finish. Soft on the knees, hinge forward. Shoulder blades drawn together. Oh, that's hard. Then when you're ready, soften the knees, engage the core. Inhale, lift up, come back to standing. And then take a little lie down on the floor. So I'm just going to run out and tell Paula that we had to start late. So she just has to. She'll probably have to into
Miss doing our Christmas.
It's fine, I didn't come alone, hasn't it? I thought that can't be an hour. But it just, you said it's last week, didn't I? Yeah.
Just go.
Oh, it's really.
And this is the Christmas lunch on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'd all go and voices, but somebody still take food.
Yeah, I couldn't stand in the lower hall either. It's all right. Sorry, you guys at home. So get yourself a little bit comfortable. It is a full moon tonight. And then there's like a whole like moon eclipse going on, and it's like, I don't know, a really important one. I'll find the detail and I'll put it in the thread later, but there's loads of astrological stuff going on at the moment. Yes, Sally, do you have a question?
Yeah, there's another star sign there.
No.
So for Sagittarius, there's another one too, I can't remember the name. Where's that come from? I'm just going to be honest.
Right, I will look that up, but I will leave you before you relax with the, you heard the Billy Connolly joke? So Billy Connolly's in a club and he's dancing away and he's like, what star sign are you? And the girl says, Sagittarius. And he goes, oh, Sagittarius, half man, half horse, licensed to shit in the street. So you get a little bit of comedy as well. So just for a little bit of a change tonight, I'm going to do a chant, and I'm going to do that chant 3 times. And it might be that there's not many words in it, so it might be that you kind of want to join in on times 2 or 3. It might be that you go, the last thing I want to do is sing in public, and that's okay. So we're going to conjure up the goddess Lakshmi for tonight. That's our full moon goddess. So allow the breath to slow. Relax the muscles of the face, the jaw, and let your body become heavy and fully released. Bring your awareness to the breath, slowing the breath down, inhaling to expand and widen into the space that surrounds you. Exhaling to soften and release. Om Shri Ma Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Om Shri Ma Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Om Shri Ma Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Tune into the quiet, the calm. Consider anything in your life that may be holding you back, any decision you need to make, anything that may not be serving you. Set yourself an intention to walk into this new moon, ridding yourself of anything holding you back that doesn't serve you. Setting a positive frame of mind for the rest of this calendar year. As above, so below. Take a deep breath in, a slightly noisier breath out. A further deep breath in, releasing with an audible sigh. Then making those little adjustments to return sensation to your body. Wiggling fingers and toes, wriggling the jaw and the nose. Taking a long stretch if you wish, or hugging the knees to the chest if you prefer. Then rolling to one side, pausing there to blink the eyes open. And returning again to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, guys. Thank you
Thank you.
for supporting me tonight through my little, oh, I can't bend over and I can't do this and I can't do that.
Do you feel all right?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I shouldn't have done the planks, but probably none of us should have done the planks.
Say that every week.
Bye, chaps.